Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Carter, and I wanted to make a quick video for all of you about a very special part of our Catholic year that starts today. Today is December 16th, 2020, and we are in the third week of Advent. And today begins what's known as the Advent Ember Tide, or the Advent Ember Days. Now, the practice of the Ember Days is something that is ancient. It goes back to the 4th century. It's a beautiful tradition in our church, and unfortunately it's fallen out of practice, pretty much completely out of practice in the church in the last several generations. Now, not all people have forgotten it. It is practiced in some circles. A couple of different religious orders still acknowledge the Ember Days, and even though it's not obligatory for anyone anymore, the Ember Days is a beautiful practice that gives you an option to offer up special thanksgiving to God and allows you, especially during Advent, to do even a little bit more to prepare your heart for the celebration of Jesus being born on December the 25th. So what are the Ember Days? Well, the Ember Days are 3 days that are set apart in a week, and this happens 4 times a year, okay? And so let me get up a whiteboard. I'm going to give you just a couple of reference points here. Let's begin with right here, the Ember Days. Ember Days. Now, the Ember Days, as I had said, happen 4 times a year. All right, so let me just go beneath it, right? So these are 3 days set apart in a given week 4 times a year. All right, I'll go in a second to explain what specific days or what times of the year this happens, but that's what the Ember Days are as far as technically what they are. They're 3 days set apart in a given week 4 times a year. Now, what are they for? What was the practice of the Ember Days? Well, you see, the Ember Days back in the early days of our church, back in like the 4th century, they were 4 times a year, specifically set apart to give thanks to God for his creation. Now, this seems, interesting. Like, well, why can't we just thank God any day for his creation? Well, of course we can. But the reason why it was so important back then, you must imagine, is as it was more of an agrarian society, they wanted to set aside times of the year and consecrate every single season of the year, which is actually a very ancient practice that goes back to the Jewish people as well, setting aside each season and consecrating each season to God. It reminds me of that verse from Ecclesiastes, that verse from Ecclesiastes that says, all things have their season, and in their times all things pass under heaven. That comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 3. And so the Ember Days are 3 days in a given week, which happens 4 times a year before or at the beginning of each of the seasons, to consecrate that season to God. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So when are the Ember Days then? When traditionally do the Ember Days happen? Well, interesting that there is a mnemonic, a really, really old Latin mnemonic, and I'll paste it here for you. Put it in green. And it's in Latin. It says, Sant Crux, Lucia, Generis, Charismata Dia, ut sit in Angaria quarta sequens feria. So what does that mean? Well, in English, what that would mean is the following. Put it right underneath it. All right, it means Holy Cross, St. Lucy, Ash Wednesday, Pentecost are when the quarter holidays follow. So if you understand this, let's see here, that over. If you understand this, what it is that it's after these great feasts throughout our calendar year, after the Feast of the Holy Cross, after St. Lucy, which was on December 13th. That's why we are now in the Advent Ember Days, or the Advent Ember Tide. Then after Ash Wednesday, and then after the Feast of Pentecost. And it is after that feast that we specifically set aside these following days. All right. Let me just give you a brand new color here. Maybe a lighter blue. All right, right here. We set aside the Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. All right, so those are the days that are set aside, like I said, after those feast days, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and they're days of partial fasting as well as abstinence, much like how we do on Fridays in our church, where we offer up some sort of penance. And during Lent, we make sure that we also abstain from meat, which traditionally, and many, like my family, we abstain from meat throughout the year, even outside of Lent. And it's because we're supposed to be doing some sort of penance on Fridays. And even though our bishops do allow us to replace, abstaining with some sort of other penance outside of Lent, it's just easier for us to abstain from meat, because that's something that's easy to remember to do on Fridays. So again, Ember Days are the Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 4 times a year, that happen after the Feast of the Holy Cross, St. Lucy, Ash Wednesday, the Feast of Pentecost, and the Feast of Pentecost, all right? And this is it corresponds to the different seasons in the year. Holy Cross would be the fall, which is in September. Then St. Lucy would be the winter Ember Days. Ash Wednesday would be the spring Ember Days, and then Pentecost would bring in the summer Ember Days. So a time to consecrate each of those 4 seasons. Now on that Wednesday, that Friday, and Saturday, it's prayer, extra fasting, and extra abstinence. Now, why Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday? Well, just like how we have Friday as a penitential day, in the early church, Wednesdays were also a penitential day. We can even see that in the Bible, that they would fast on Wednesday and Friday. It says that we fast twice a week. Well, tradition says it was Wednesday and Friday. And some of our Eastern Catholic brothers and sisters, they still follow that, and they offer up penance on Wednesdays and Fridays. Saturday in Rome was an extension of the Friday fast, and it was a little bit later. Now, the Ember Days started back to the testimony. It's according to the testimony of Pope Leo the First, and so you're looking at like the 4th century, right, or the 400s, when this really came into practice. And much later, Pope Gelasius used those Saturdays during the Ember Days to specifically set aside to pray for priests and to ordain brand new priests as well. So in the early church, for a couple of centuries, priests were primarily ordained on one of the Ember Saturdays. I think that's amazing. And there are a few orders. I have a friend who's in one of them who still honors that, and they wait until an Ember Saturday to ordain the priest in their order, all right? And so Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday set aside 4 times a year, which I explained already, to pray for the consecration of that season, for good harvest, for good weather, to thank God for his creation, and to also specifically pray for holy priests, which we need now, right? In our church, we need to pray for holy priests. We need more good priests. I don't want to go too much longer. That is what the Ember Days are. It's a beautiful tradition, which I highly recommend that you take part in. I'll share with you one unique tradition that I think that you will love. There's a story that goes that in the early days, it's probably around the 16th century, the Spanish and the Portuguese missionaries, they went to Nagasaki, Japan, and they were bringing Christ to the people in Japan. And when it came to the Ember Days, they wanted to teach them that they should abstain, not eat meat, and fast a little bit and whatnot. but they didn't know what to eat. They wanted to show the Japanese people what they could eat on those days. Now, I want to show you something interesting, and this is a true story. The word Ember Days actually does not sound at all like the word that it's based off of. The Latin understanding of these, or the Latin explanation or title for these seasons is the following. It's the Quator. You know what? Let me make sure I'm spelling this correctly. All right, let's see here. Yes, I'll just bring it right here. The Latin phrase for the Ember Days, or the Latin title for the Ember Days, is the Quator Tempora. This means 4 seasons or 4 times. That's what that literally means, that Latin phrase. Okay, so maybe you're kind of guessing what I'm gonna say here. When the Portuguese and Spanish missionaries went to Japan to teach them about Christ, during the Ember Days, they taught them how to get their seafood and to get their vegetables and to fry them with a batter on it. What is that called? That's called tempura. Tempura. What does that come from? Well, it comes from right here, the Quator Tempora. And so tradition says that it was the Portuguese missionaries that taught the Japanese how to make tempura. And tempura really then has a foundation in something Catholic. Tempura was developed out of the celebration and recognition of the Quatora Tempora. And so if you don't remember, or you choose not to abstain or fast during the Advent Ember Tide, perhaps maybe at least something you can do to remember the tradition of the past and to remember the tradition of the church is to make some tempura during this Ember Tide, which would be today, which is Wednesday, Friday, and this Saturday. So go out, eat some tempura, and eat it in recognition and remembrance of the generations before us that celebrated these great days as a time of thanksgiving to God for his creation, asking him to consecrate our season, asking him for good harvest, and especially praying for our holy priests. I hope that it was beneficial to you. There is much more that I could share. If you're interested, please contact me. I can give you a couple of very good articles. There's even one that I read a few years ago. It's like 25 pages, but it goes into complete, in-depth explanation of the Ember Days. If you're interested, let me know. I can send that to you. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and have a blessed Advent. And then if I don't see you in class before that, have a wonderful Christmas. All right.